Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 7 of P4G Pokemon for Glory. My name is CBAD, coach of the Detroit Steelwings. We are here taking on my man Joey Pokieaim and the LA Wakers. This match has a lot riding on it, both professionally and personally, quite honestly. I've made myself some promises if I'm able to beat Joey today that I will move forward with, and if I do not beat Joey, I will not move forward with those. Nothing detrimental, just some fun rewards I want to reward myself with if I win. And if we beat on a professional side, if we beat him, the playoff dream stays alive. We need to make it a pretty good margin. We do still have our week 8 match against Ellie and the Shanghai Dragons afterwards. But if we lose here, there is no rebound. We will end up, you know, it would have to be a very slim margin, especially very heavily dependent on week 8. If we lose here to still make any sort of a playoff contention. I don't know where standings are. I know this one is the one that matters the most. If we lose this, I mean, week 8 needs to be a 6-0 and everybody else just kind of flops, but that's kind of how the season's been. We've seen a lot of people get 6-0'd. We've seen a lot of people get 5-0'd. We've seen a lot of people get 0-6. We've seen a lot of people get 0-5'd. I mean, it's been absolutely just mind-blowing just to see the amount of competition, the variety of sets that have come out of this season. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have too. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Joey's team is terrifying. There will be some text floating somewhere on screen in post-production if you guys want to hop right on ahead of the battle. I certainly always recommend, especially this week, to watch the team builder. I was in the kitchen cooking this week, and I'm hoping it pays off. So you definitely want to watch the team builder so you guys know what I'm bringing and why I'm bringing it, because otherwise you might be confused and not understand what I'm doing with my life these days. So, but all that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for all the support this season. You guys are going to start to see some teams appear on screen right about now. Joey has a team that consists of Heracross, Pecharunt, Noivern, Incineroar, Rabombi, Empoleon, Registeel, Regieleki, Quagsire, Flapple, and Cloth. 2 Terra Captains on Joey's team are Flapple, which can be Terra Dragon, Terra Grass, and Terra Fire, and Cloth, which can be Terra Rock, Terra Grass, and Terra Fairy. Some things to note about Joey's team: Regieleki outspeeds, quite honestly, anything I can cook up. It needs 0 speed investment to still have 50 more base speed than a Jolly Talonflame. It's absolutely disgusting. Good news is it doesn't get too much in the form of coverage. So, like, it can get pretty walled by a Gastrodon or a Dugtrio, which is hopeful. Obviously, it can set screens, it can spin, it can boom. It does have, you know, Terra Blast as like a base 80 normal move if it needs to, but it doesn't get too much outside of that. So we could see some maybe like some switcheroo ring target type stuff. I'm not sure, but that's one fun thing to note. And then some other things to note about Joey's team. Hazard removal comes in the form of Defog on Noivern or Rapid Spin and Regieleki. Lots of hazard support, spikes on Heracross and Quagsire, rocks on Cloth, Quagsire, and Registeel. Rabombi has access to webs. Quagsire has access to toxic spikes. Now, I don't think he'll bring Sticky Web. First off, he has Pokemon that Talonflame outspeeds everything but Regieleki, but then Rabombi and Noivern outspeed everything but Talonflame. So I don't think he'll go a Sticky Web route, especially because I also have ability to bring Servine and Empoleon, which can abuse the webs pretty nicely. If I had to say 6 that I think he'd bring, I think Pecharunt has to show up. Pecharunt is like a super good Virizion check. Empoleon hits super hard. I think Heracross has to show up. I'm torn on Regieleki. You know, he has enjoyed it quite a bit and wants to prove that it is good in Draft League, so it could show up just based on the merit that it's super fast. I don't know if Rabombi will show up. Like, I have a lot of poison types. I have a steel type. Like, I've got a rock type. Like, I've got a lot for it, so I don't know if Rabombi will show up. Noivern could. I've got, you know, stuff like Empoleon and Diancie that kind of sit in front of it pretty nicely. Empoleon does do a lot of work, just max speed, just shooting off attacks. Pecharunt will show up. Heracross will show up, no doubt. Terra Captains, I really haven't done too much planning for Terra Captains, and that could be my downfall. Come back to this timestamp if that ends up being my downfall in the battle, but truth be told, I have not done too much work on those. I think the Flapple maybe would make the most sense with like a Dragon Dance Terra set, like a Dragon Dance Terra Glass or something like that, maybe. Just to be able to like pop, you know, Diancie with a very strong like Grav Apple and then just hustle boosted dragon move the rest of the way. Cloth, I don't know, will show up. Incineroar, I don't think Incineroar will show up. I could abuse it with competitive Empoleon or like a physical contrary Servine. I've got some good checks for it, I feel. Registeel could definitely show up. It helps sponge hits from things like Monkey Dory pretty nicely, as well as, you know, Diancie if not packing the proper coverage. Quagsire I'm iffy on. Like, I have Virizion and Servine, so to me, when I'm game planning, I don't think Quagsire would show up, but maybe that's what Joey thinks I'm going to think about. You know, Unaware could be there. He's seen that I have, you know, been able to set up with certain Pokemon and just kind of go. So, you know, I set up Drifblim, last week set up Gastrodon, things like that, and Unaware Quagsire could just sit in front of, you know, and just go to town, right? So I'm not really too confident. I know, like, Pecharunt, Heracross, probably Inteleon will show up. Regieleki, I can probably confidently say about 4, but then the other 2 are toss-ups. Flapple, I'm probably 50-50 on. And then it really is just kind of utility form from there. So enough about Joey's team. Let's start talking about our team. First Pokemon we are bringing is Stolas, the Talonflame. He's rocking his heavy-duty boots with the Gale Wings ability. Dual Wing Beat, U-Turn, Flare Blitz, and Roost. We have 252 EVs in attack, 16 in defense, 240 in speed with a Jolly Nature. At 240 in speed with a Jolly Nature, we are outspeeding everything aside from Regieleki, so Rabombi, Noivern, Inteleon, blah, blah, blah. You see the whole team on the screen. 16 in defense, just kind of help us out. A lot of his priority is physical, so just to be able to take those a little bit better, whether it is a Aqua Jet from Inteleon, E-Speed from Eleki, Fake Out from Incineroar, Sucker Punch from either Flapple or Inteleon, things along those lines. And Heracross gets Vacuum Wave, but I don't think he's running that. Just to help us take that a little bit more. I went with Dual Wing Beat over Brave Bird because I cannot for the life of me get into Brave Bird, because somewhere in my mind, like a Sash Rabombi could do something. I feel like that could be a thing. Don't know why. I could regret it not going for the Brave Bird, but Dual Wing Beat is there. Went with Gale Wings over the Flame Body because if there is like a Scarf Heracross sweep about to happen, keeping my Gale Wings fully intact to just always out prioritize and go for a Dual Wing Beat to knock it out is going to be pretty beneficial. U-Turn is nice for the pivoting. Flare Blitz hits everything really hard. I mean, just the dual stab on Talonflame does a lot. Flare Blitz for the Regieleki. If she switches in on it, I'll never outspeed it. Flare Blitz or Dual Wing Beat for the Rabombi, Dual Wing Beat for Noivern, Dual Wing Beat for Inteleon, Flare Blitz for the Pecharunt, either for the Heracross. Cloth, if it's Rock, does Walla, so will U-Turn out on that, but if it is Terra Grass, obviously our dual stab will do that, and then if it is Terra Fairy as well, either one will do work there. Flapple, the Dual Wing Beat will take care of that. Dragon, if it's Terra Dragon, Dual Wing Beat will do good damage. Terra Grass, either one, and then Terra Fire will go for our Dual Wing Beat there. Incineroar, Dual Wing Beat, Registeel, Flare Blitz, and then Quagsire, Dual Wing Beat. So that's kind of where my head is at with that. Like I said, I may end up regretting not bringing the Brave Bird, but that's where that is. And then Roost for the longevity, just being able to get some recovery back off at the end of the day. Next Pokemon we are bringing. This is part 1 of 5 of the Cooking with CBAD series, and I feel like Talonflame is very standard. 1 or 2 other Pokemon maybe pretty okay, like pretty not too far out of here, but this is part 1 of Cooking with CBAD. We are bringing Egg Boys, the Doug Trio. They are rocking their loaded dice with the Sand Force ability. Agility, Rock Blast, Earthquake, and Terra Blast. We are running Terra Flying this week. We have 252 in attack, 148 in defense, 108 in speed with an Adamant Nature. What does this do? What does this do? Okay, hear me out. So I know every week I talk about I have to use Sand Force because Sandvale is banned and I can't use Arena Trap. So like, why did I specifically put emphasis on Sand Force? So Sand Force boosted Rock Blast, Earthquake, and Terra Blast. Flying are doing, not boosted by Sand Force, obviously, but Sand Force boosted Rock Blast and Earthquake are doing a crazy amount to Joey's team. Earthquake for the Eleki, Rock Blast for the Rabombi, for the Noivern, Earthquake for the Inteleon, the Pecharunt, Terra Blast Flying for Heracross, Earthquake for the Cloth if it's Rock, Terra Blast Flying if it's Grass, Earthquake for if it's Fairy, Flapple, Earthquake if it's Dragon, Terra Blast Flying if it's Grass, Earthquake if it's Fire, Earthquake for the Incineroar, Earthquake for the Registeel, Earthquake for Quagsire. Quagsire is probably the biggest detriment to this plan. 108 in defense with Agility. You're bringing Agility on a Pokemon with 120 base speed. Yes, because I cannot outspeed. I speed tie Inteleon, and then I can only outspeed Pecharunt below. So I'm only bringing enough speed to outspeed naturally Pecharunt below. I will not win the speed tie against an Inteleon, I'm convinced. So I'm bringing Agility, hopefully forcing something to swap, getting up a little bit faster, and then being able to pop it with a strong Rock Blast, Earthquake, Terra Blast, Flying. After an Agility, we are able to outspeed Regieleki. So that's another reason why we're bringing Agility. More so to outspeed Rabombi and Noivern, but truthfully, at the end of the day, just to say I can outspeed a Regieleki in Draft League. The 148 in defense, again, the large majority of practical priority on Joey's side of the field is physical. So with only base 50 defense, I just wanted to pump the rest of that into there. And that is going to be Egg Boys. Now, if I'm bringing Sand Force and relying on it, I need something to set sand, correct? Enter Vaggie the Diancie. She is rocking her Smooth Rock with the Clear Body ability. Sandstorm, Baton Pass, Draining Kiss, and Earth Power. We have 248 EVs in HP, 252 in defense, 8 in special defense with a bold nature. After Sandstorm, we will get the special defense boost, which is why we are running max physical defense this week, just to be able to hopefully take some hits from something like a Heracross, Claw, Flapple, Incineroar, just that much a little bit better, even Registeel to an extent. Sandstorm with the Smooth Rock, we have 7 turns of Sandstorm, which means 7 turns of Sand Force boost, which will be great. Baton Pass, we are very slow. We speed tie 0 speed Registeel, and we outspeed Quagsire. Other than that, we underspeed everything else, so we're able to get a slow Baton Pass off, hopefully, into Dugtrio. Draining Kiss is nice just for the recovery, being able to have super effective damage against the Noivern, against the Heracross, against the Flapple. Earth Power will be able to hit things like Pecharunt, Cloth, depending on its Terra type, Flapple, depending on its Terra type, Incineroar, and Registeel as well. That is part 1. That is part 2 of Cooking with CBAD. We are now entering part 3 of Cooking with CBAD. Probably the finale. I think the other 2 are pretty straightforward, but I really like this one. Part 3, the finale of Cooking with CBAD. We'll get into the epilogue here shortly. We are bringing Adam the Empoleon. Somebody in the comments is already like, he's probably bringing another weakness policy set. Wrong. Quit typing. Quit typing. Stop it. Stop typing right now. Adam is rocking his Wakanberry with the competitive ability. Truth be told, before I get into this, neither ability worked like really well with this set, so competitive just to hopefully scare him out if needed. Swords Dance, Agility, Earthquake, and Triple Axle. 252 EVs in attack, 116 in special defense, 140 in speed with a careful nature. With 140 in speed with a careful nature, we are outspeeding a 0-speed Cloth, a 0-speed Flapple, Incineroar with some speed investment, Registeel, and Quagsire. 116 in special defense with a careful nature. Let me bring this calc up right here because this was particular. Regieleki can be modest and still blow me backwards, like, and just not run any speed still, right? So Regieleki, max special attack, modest Regieleki, has a 40.2% chance to 2-hit KO me with Thunderbolt. I am able to go for a strong Earthquake and take that out through the Wakanberry, which will be great. The idea is to switch in on something that is a specially offensive Pokemon like Ribombee, like Noivern, like Inteleon. Take a hit, go for an Agility. Now, after the Agility with our speed investment, we are outspeeding Ribombee by 1 point. And then from there, I would expect something like Regieleki to come in. Now, if it doesn't have Volt Switch and just Thunderbolt, Thunder Cage, whatever that looks like, we are able to take the Earth. We are able to take that electric move, go for the Earthquake in return, and knock it out. Alternatively, if Regieleki doesn't show up, we are able to go for an Agility, hopefully into a Swords Dance, and then the combination of Earthquake and Triple Axle will do a ton of damage to Joey's team. Excluding the Regieleki, Triple Axle would do great damage to the Ribombee, the Noivern, Earthquake would do great damage to the Inteleon, the Pecharunt, Triple Axle for the Heracross. Depending on Cloth's Terra type, either one of those would do well. Same thing with Flapple, Earthquake for the Incineroar, Earthquake for the Quagsire, or excuse me, Earthquake for the Registeel, and then Triple Axle for the Quagsire. I think if Quagsire shows up, it's a 50-50 on Water Absorb, or I guess 50-50, like it's the only 2 good abilities, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's very equal opportunity whether it is going to be Water Absorb or Unaware, which is why no Water move this week, but also Ground and Ice just do a really, really good chunk to Joey's team. That is the finale of Cooking with CBAD. We have 2 more Pokemon. This is the epilogue. This is just a little bit of dessert on the end here. We are bringing the Sarah the Virizion. She is rocking her Assault Vest with the Justified ability. We have Trailblaze, Stone Edge, Close Combat, and Aerial Ace. 252 in attack, 80 in special defense, 176 in speed with an Adamant nature. The 176 in speed is going to allow us to outspeed Heracross by 1 point, also allowing us to outspeed Cloth, Flapple, Incineroar, Registeel, and Quagsire. After a Trailblaze, we are outspeeding, of course, Scarf Heracross. We are then outspeeding everything outside of Regieleki. Regieleki not having too much that it wants to do to us, so maybe a good opportunity to go for a second Trailblaze there. Close Combat hitting the Regieleki, Stone Edge hitting the Ribombee, and the Noivern Trailblaze hitting the Inteleon or Close Combat. Pecharunt is a wall to this, and I'm hoping I can kind of make that prediction to move us around into another Pokemon from there. Heracross, Aerial Ace is there for the Heracross, dependent on the Cloth, and the Terra type will go from there. Same thing with the Flapple. Close Combat for the Incineroar, Close Combat for the Registeel, Trailblaze for the Quagsire. Last, but certainly not least, very similar set to before, and the overall idea here is that I've got some Pokemon that can help me kind of pivot, but I also just need to keep moving and keep making progress on my board state. So a lot of setup potential this week. Lastly, we are bringing Cherry Bomb the Overquill. Now, she is rocking a Lumberry with the Intimidate ability, Agility, Crunch, Poison Jab, and Swords Dance. We have 252 EVs in attack, 36 in special defense, 220 in speed with an Adamant nature. 220 in speed with an adamant nature. We are outspeeding. Like good amount of speed, but not max speed Cloth. Same thing with the Flapple. We're outspeeding Incineroar, Registeel, and Quagsire. So the speed on Overquill, I think Scarf Virizion makes a lot of sense. I don't think Scarf Dugtrio does, but I think a Scarf Virizion to kind of revenge kill things with a strong close combat makes a lot of sense. So Regieleki could run enough speed investment to outpace Scarf Virizion. Scarf Virizion hits 519. Regieleki would need to hit then 520. I would want to outpace that Regieleki by 1 point if I'm speed creeping his speed creep. So 261 speed times 2 hits me at 522. Outspeeding that Regieleki that is speed creeping my Scarf Virizion. That is the point there. Crunch and Poison Jab do a number to Joey's team. As you can see, not a lot of Pokemon have near perfect coverage for everything, but it is going to be an ultimate just cluster of the whole team working together to bring down the champ. Crunch or Poison Jab for the Regieleki, Poison Jab for the Ribombee, Crunch for the Noivern, Crunch or Poison Jab for Inteleon, Crunch for the Pecharunt, Poison Jab for the Heracross, Cloth dependent on its Terra typing, Flapple same as well, Poison Jab for the Incineroar, Crunch for the Registeel, and Crunch for the Quagsire. Lumberry is there. I do not want to put it past Joey to run some sort of status conditions if it does come, so something like maybe a Thunder Waving Regieleki, maybe a Stun Sporing Ribombee, a Will-O-Wisp from Incineroar, a Thunder Wave from Registeel. I want to be able to shrug that off and continue just a good damage output. That way somewhere, so that way somewhere along the rest of the team, we are able to continue just breaking and whittling down, and as Joey says, like pushing buttons and just moving forward. So that is going to be the team. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm going to cut to the battle, and I'll see you guys there. Ladies and gentlemen, week 7 is upon us against Joey Pokey-Aim. We are here. Let's see what my guy is bringing today. We see the Inteleon. We see the Incineroar. We do see the Regieleki. We do see the Registeel. I brought the dual Regicore. We do see Noivern, and we do see Heracross. So, flashback to the team builder where I said I was not 100% sure on what would be brought as far as a Terra Captain. We don't see a single Terra Captain, so that's always a good thing on my side of the field. I do not mind leading something like Virizion. I think Virizion has a fine matchup into something like the Inteleon, into the Incineroar. We can take a hit from the Regieleki. We threaten out the Registeel. The Noivern does pressure us, and we have a good switch into Diancie from there. And then the Heracross will be able to get a big Air Lace on. So I think that is going to be a good lead for us here. Very excited for this matchup. I think it should be a good time. I'm almost surprised by the Intimidate on the end. Maybe it's Blaze Incineroar that he brought, but we do have the competitive Empoleon to hopefully kind of threaten it out a little bit and have some fun there. So either way, very, very, very excited for this matchup here. Yeah, I don't know what else too much to say about that. If you didn't watch the team builder, this is a match that is very, very strongly influencing our playoff run. Hopefully winning with a good enough differential puts us into a good spot. And if not, it makes a lot harder for us to go from there. All right, Noivern has Frisk. He finds the Assault Vest, which is fine. Hurricane does have a 56% chance to OHKO us from here. I think that a U-turn is pretty obvious. So I could switch. Right? I am just going to go for a Stone Edge here. Super Fang. Missing the Stone Edge, turn 1. All right. That is fine by me to some extent. I will attempt to go for a... now at half, Air Slash or Hurricane do put us down here. Super Fang is great. That is good. That is good. I will attempt to go for another Stone Edge here. If this is a max HP Noivern, Stone Edge is doing about 60 to 71, so a little unfortunate. Maybe there's another Super Fang coming off. We'll get some miss for miss, but either way, it's the game that we play at the end of the day. Here's another Super Fang, gonna bring us down to a quarter. Goes for a big Stone Edge. Big crit. Big crit mattered. All right. Tit for tat. 2 Stone Edges would have knocked it out. Virizion KOs Noivern with Stone Edge. All right. I will take that. 1 down, 5 to go. We just got to stay ahead as much as we can. To the best of our ability. Here comes Mr. Kid. That is going to be the Heracross. Okay. Now, if Heracross came out, you are likely very scarfed, right? That is my honest thought here. I don't think Virizion does too much more. I will go for the Aerial Ace. It is Scarf. Choice Scarf. Close combat. Okay. Heracross. KOs Virizion with CC. There is the Moxie boost. Okay. I will simply go out into my Talon of Flame that has Gale Wings. Hopefully threatening this thing out. I will go for a U-turn here. I think U-turn is the safest play. I think he needs to keep the Heracross around. Withdraws. Okay, so we made the right play here. Comes in Chris Reed. Okay. That is going to be the Incineroar. Okay. All right, so we know this is Intimidate Incineroar. Let me take a look here because I feel there's a few opportunities that we have here. And I think one of them might be just going out into Empoleon and going for a agility here. Is agility the right play? Yes, because then I'll hopefully outspeed Scarf Heracross, which can revenge me. Let's go for that. He withdraws. All right, that is fine. Goes out into Zanny. Oh, okay. All right, now at +2. Amnesia. Okay. Earthquake should be a 2-hit KO from here, depending on the investment. Yeah, either one, I think this is a pretty solid 2-hit KO going for Earthquake. With Noivern gone, Earthquake is going to hit everything. We have the Wakan Berry in place for the Regieleki. I think we got some good stuff cooking. What you got for me? Doing a little over half, which is great. Goes for the Iron Defense. Okay. I don't know if that is enough from this range to save you. I will go for another one and hope. Sitting at about 30. So I don't think he's max defense. If he's a Custap set, he's at a Custap range as well. Come on, Empoleon. You got this, bud. Beautiful. Empoleon KOs the Registeel with Earthquake. I do not know if that crit mattered. That is unfortunate. Empoleon KOs Registeel with Earthquake. All right. 2 down, 4 to go. We're playing it as we go. Here comes Daily Show, which is going to be the Regieleki here. I am simply going to go for the Earthquake. We have the Wakanda in place. Here's the Wild Charge. We are going to be able to eat that. Life Orb, too. All right, Empoleon doing good work right here. Empoleon KOs Regieleki with Earthquake. 3 down, 3 to go. Not out of the woods yet. We are not out of the woods yet. Now, in comes the Scarf Heracross here. Now, I would believe this to just knock me out here. Here comes the close combat. Heracross KOs Empoleon with close combat. All right. Empoleon put the weight of the world on his back. That is fine by me. Now, we do have the Intimidate here with the Overquill. So I'm curious if we go into this or we just go into our Talonflame here. Now, if this is just a +1, close combat does have a chance to KO. Okay, so we are going right out into Talonflame and just going to go for the dual Wing Beat. Gale Wings will always put us at a positive priority bracket. He withdraws. Okay. Here comes Chris Reed again, the Incineroar. Now, I am not going to stay in because I do not want to fake out to pop my... I do not want a fake out to pop my... Gale Wings. I'm going to hard switch into Overquill here. Clear Amulet. Okay. Swords Dance Incineroar. Okay. I will simply go for the Poison Jab here. Big damage. Here's the Flame Charge. I will go for the Poison Jab again, but I think this will knock me out here. Incineroar KOs Overquill. Okay. We do have the full health Talonflame in the back to pop with a dual Wing Beat. Talonflame KOs Incineroar with dual Wing Beat. Inteleon in the back. Yep, that's what I was going to say was about to come out here. Now, I am faster than this thing. In theory. I'll go for a U-turn. If it is Scarf, it is Scarf. It is not Scarf. All right, we'll get some good damage off here. I think the only play is to go out into... probably into DNC here. There's the Liquidation. All right, that does 183. Now then... I need to hit this. Sandstorm does nothing for me because I'm Sand Force, not Sand Boost. So I need to hit this thing. I will go for a Draining Kiss here. There's the Liquidation again. I will go for another Draining Kiss. Empoleon will take me down to with the liquidation. I lived? Oh my god. The NC KOs Empoleon with... Oh my god, this is no, oh my god, what is this? All right, I will go for another Draining Kiss here. This is an exchange. I thought I was done for. All right, goes for the Swords Dance. All right, the NC, I don't know if he meant to do that. Empoleon with Draining Kiss. Okay. We have the full health Talonflame in the back to knock out the Heracross. I will go for a Draining Kiss here. There's a close combat. All right. Heracross KOs DNC with close combat. Now, I don't know if Terra Flying Dugtrio lives a +1 close combat. There's a 50% chance that it does. I need to go out into... Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. There's a 50% chance that I do, and I win 2-0. If I miss my dual wing beat with Talonflame, then it is... Does Talonflame live a +1 close combat? Just in case. I always live a close combat. I am going to go out into Talonflame here. The safest play is to Flare Blitz. The safest play is to Flare Blitz here in case of a 10% miss. We will die to our own recoil and we will win 1-0. Oh, let's go, baby. All right, we are in it. We have taken a victory for the first time in years, and I certainly don't want to come off to the viewers as a sore winner. I am very happy in all the years that I have been playing Joey. I have never been able to beat him. I was very happy to do so today, so I do not want to come off braggadocious or anything. I am very excited. This is a large accomplishment for me. Joey, thank you so much for the game. I'm looking forward to hopefully our post-game interview here in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave some love, show a like, subscribe if you're new. I don't know what that means for our playoff contention, but we are on a 2-win streak. We are currently 4-3. If we can pick up a W next week, I'm hopeful that means we're in a good spot for playoffs. But all that being said, I want to remind you guys to be great and do great. I'll see you on the next video. Later.